Several alleged front organizations of the left masquerade as legitimate pro-poor and cause-oriented groups and are bankrolled internationally, especially by EU nations. A revelation provided for in a report by a government mission to the United Nations and the European Union on the insurgency status quo in the country and the various left-leaning groups that receive international funding used to discredit and defame the government in any possible scheme. PTV senior correspondent Marita Moahe has more.
To ask the European Union to stop funding front organizations of the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front, and straighten out false pieces of information about the Philippines is the main mission of the Philippine delegation sent to Europe last February. Presidential Human Rights Committee Undersecretary Severo Catura said that they presented to the international organizations the reports on the enforced or involuntary disappearances, as well as reports on the CPP, NPA, NDF alleged front organizations headed by Joma Sison.
The mission, as I said, was to preserve the integrity of the information, but it is actually to qualify the extent by which the human rights narrative in our country has been so muddled. Ang nakakaabot sa ibang bansa ay talagang ibang-iba sa nangyayari sa atin.
AFP Deputy Chief for Civil Military Operations Brigadier General Antonio Parlade presented to the media part of his presentation to the EU and the UN. He added it's high time these international organizations know the truth on what is really happening in the country, with information taken directly from the revolutionary website of the left-leaning group. Parlade named the Ibon Foundation, Rural Missionaries of the Philippines, Alcadev, and Karapatan, among others, as some of the front organizations of the CPP, NPA, and NDF. Furthermore, he said that these organizations have been getting millions of euros as funding from the EU.
Nakita natin na ang dami po ng funding na nakukuha nitong mga organizations na ito, specifically from the European Union. Ang nakita natin na very clear is the release of some 621,000 to 22,000 euros para dun sa Rural Missionaries of the Philippines. And they're proudly displaying the logo of the European Union without the EU knowing na ito pala ay mga front organizations.
Meanwhile, part of the delegation is the PCOO, which conducted a Truth and Press Freedom Caravans, says Undersecretary Joel C. Egco.
The PCOO is part of the National Task Force, no, itong EO70. And of course, as the information arm, ay ito pa yung naging role niya. No? So we call that mission as the Truth Caravan, wherein we also married the Press Freedom Caravan.
The AFP still gathering more pieces of information and compiling this as evidence for submission to the UN and the EU. Marita Moahe for The Nation.